What's up, guys? Hulky Boy checking in again. As promised, I am doing Assassin's Creed Syndicate today. The reason as to why it's taking so long to get it done is purely because Shadowplay is being a pain in the ass. Doesn't work. I've had to source a new bit of software, DX Tory, which I've managed to. I've got to purchase that because I trialed it and it's working. So we're going to use that today. So if there's any inconsistencies in the frames and if it's a bit choppy, then it's purely just because of the codec I think I've been using. I've had a play around and a friend of mine recommended me a few of them. You've got Matrox, Lagarith and a few others. Tried a few of them, went for Lagarith in the end. I've got it to work and it looks pretty good, so hopefully there's no difference in the quality of the recording. Shadowplay for some reason is just being a nightmare recently. I mean, it first started with Verdun, a game I bought, and it didn't even pick it up, and it turned out that they didn't support it, which was fair enough. I had another issue with Star Wars Battlefront that wouldn't even detect it at all, didn't get the FPS count, nothing. And on this Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I was getting the FPS counter, and then nothing else. There's no video recording icon or anything, so I couldn't record. I've troubleshooted the hell out of it. I spent about 2 hours last night uninstalling, reinstalling, running it through Uplay, running it through the GeForce Experience panel itself. I've done all sorts of testing with and without the amplifier, and it literally doesn't get any further than giving me the FPS counter. So opted for DX Tory, read some reviews and it looks pretty good. And yeah, so we're going to be doing Assassin's Creed. I'm going to do 1080p standard, normal testing, frames per second, have a look at the game itself, and then we're going to move on to the graphics amplifier, and if it will handle it, we'll do some 4K gaming as well. Cool.
Okay, so we are starting in 1080p. I'll just show you the resolution. 1080p, and the graphics settings I believe are on medium. I'll try and change the graphics settings mid-game, but as I explained in my intro video, I had some issues before trying to get DX Story to work, so I'm not going to tweak it too much in case it bottoms out altogether, but we'll see how we get on. Right on the back of the head. Hopefully you can see Fraps on the bottom right. I've got Fraps bottom right, Shadowplay bottom left, and DX Tory top left, and I've been playing around with the videos and it only seems to work. The Fraps is the only one that only seems to come up, so I'll do a few minutes gameplay for each setting. See if we can throw the body over the platform. See you laters. Top end of 50 FPS at the moment, which is pretty decent. I think it's quite CPU intensive, this game, so gotcha. Quick throws. Never played Assassin's Creed before, so I'm getting used to all the game settings. Some of the free run buttons are a bit strange to get used to. You're trying to control it, whereas you just push these buttons and it does a lot of it for you, so it's a bit different.
Hello, boys.
So I just jumped back out and jumped back in again. And I'll put the graphics back onto high, so let's have a quick look and see what sort of frames we're going to get and if the quality's changed at all. Probably better off just aiming and killing, and considering I had plenty of time. Yeah, we are on the middle to low 40s at the moment, so definitely a bit of a difference in terms of frames. noticing too much in the difference of quality really. You got plenty of henchmen on this. Bloody everywhere. Oh, I've got no bar, I've got no knives. Let's wreck these two. So her weapon of choice is like a big, I don't know what the technical word for that is. It's a big wooden stick with a blade on the end of it. It's like a mini scythe. He's still hitting the middle 40s. Smash him up. Bosh. Good night. I need to start looting some bodies to another £3. Another meal deal paid for there. 3 throwing knives, 154 quid, lovely jubbly. This is one long train.
Smells like Jacob's cooking.
It's just hard to control the character sometimes because they're on like a rail. You're still middle 40s to, well, 42, 43, 44 sort of area. I think what I'll do now is I'll chuck it onto top graphic settings and then see how we get on. Okay, so we've just chucked it back on with the, still on 1080p, but we've got ultra settings on now. They're very high. It's above the recommended amount for the graphics card. I did try and record a few moments ago, just a minute or two, and it didn't record the video, it just recorded the sound, and I don't know if that's because it's basically maxing out the graphics on this, so it can't handle the screen capture. But as you can see here, it's just above what I've got in there, so hopefully it's going to record this time. It was just a glitch, but not holding my breath. But yeah, the quality is much nicer. I've noticed that. I think they've spotted me. Yeah, they spotted me. Let's just smash them up. Oh, knife to the back. Come here. Good night. Cheeky double one there. Frames dropped to about 36, 37. Still playable, but I imagine if we get into any video scenes or anything like that, it's a bit more intense, it's gonna drop, so it's not gonna be playable, unfortunately. But we'll wait to find out, I suppose. Trying to keep these segments as even as I possibly can, because DxTory uses a lot more space than Shadowplay does when it records, so it's 34, 35 frames a second, so it should be playable. And hopefully it's not too choppy when it gets rendered, when we render the video. But it looks pretty playable from where I am. There's no lag or choppiness, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to reboot, chuck on the GTX 980 in the Amplifier, and we'll see if we can get some 4K gaming on that, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to handle it on the onboard, especially with 30 odd frames per second in 1080p. So we'll give that a go.
Okay, so doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do any 4K gaming for you or get anything to work on the Amplifier. It just doesn't seem to pick it up for some reason. It's still trying to run off the onboard not the GTX, the actual HD Intel is picking that up in the settings, which is a bit strange. I think it's probably defaulting to the GTX 970 on board. I'm not too sure what it's doing, but when I tried to put it in 4K on low settings, it was getting about 15 to 20 FPS, which was the same as what I was getting on the GTX 970M. So there's not something's not quite right there. Bit of a nightmare really, but I have to look into it and see if we can get any other options. I'll look into graphic drivers and bits and pieces. We may have to revisit this one to see if we can get it working. But yeah, I did try 4K on board and I was getting about 15, 20 FPS. Hooked up the amplifier, detected it in the device manager, said it's all there, happy, great. Booted up the game. Didn't give me the option for when it shows you on the top what graphics card it's working on. It was working on the Intel, so I'm not sure if that was a glitch. So we did try a bit anyway. And even on low settings in 4K, it was like 15, 20 FPS. So I did try a few other settings and yeah, couldn't get it to work. Had to come off out of frustration. Been playing around it for now for about an hour or two and still no joy with it. So I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, gonna give it a bit of a breather. It's 1:30 in the morning now, so I've got to go to bed. So, but yeah, we'll have to revisit it when we can get it working again. I did have a quick look on Alienware Arena forum, and there's a few people with similar issues saying that it's not detecting in certain games. So maybe it's just the game that's being a pig. Just wanted to mention as well, it's in the description down below. Please subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment. I'll always reply to you if I can get the time to. Got Instagram as well now, so you can get a bit of a look behind the scenes and see what new equipment, maybe graphics cards, green screens, bits and pieces that are gonna appear in the videos, and updates and anything else that I can chuck on there will be on the Instagram. So check it out. Follow me. I will follow you back as well. And the website hulkyboy.co.uk will be going live very shortly. I've pretty much finished that. So yeah, keep watching this space, and we'll be back again shortly.